segregation. Yeah, my friend doesn't leave his apartment anymore because he's getting harassed by people. This is like turning into like a kindergarten fight.
Well, yeah, that's been that way for a little while. Yeah.
What did you say?
What they're saying is they would not be
What can they say?
fascist and hateful. If it was really fascist, this would not be possible. None of this would be possible. Milo wouldn't even be able to speak at all. Nobody would be able to do anything like this. This would be a moot point. You have jackbooted thugs and riot gear shutting everybody up and sending them home. This is the fact. We just want to hear a fucking guy make us laugh and talk. That's all we want. He has a comedic way of talking about the subject.
But I've found that most of his comedy has to do with putting down subjugated groups and making fun of people for their race or gender.
You mean like himself?
He is gay.
Well, he is using himself. Yeah.
He uses himself. You don't understand. He's very self-deprecating. Have you ever watched one of his presentations?
Yes, I have. I've watched many.
Me too. I don't see anything that says he puts down anybody. There is a certain amount of truth to it that life sucks.
I saw him arguing for separation of the sexes in labs.
I've never heard that.
Wasn't
you can
quite,
watch it.
Yeah, the argument is that if it makes it better, then you could separate it.
It's the same thing that Black Lives Matter is arguing for on college campuses with black-friendly spaces. They're arguing segregation themselves.
Like that. Alright, well, black-only spaces, like them having a place to discuss racism, or just like are they segregating classrooms?
That's what they're pushing.
Well,
they're
depending on everything.
What are they so afraid of?
I don't think that they're arguing for full-on segregation of classrooms. If people want to go have a meeting with other black people and discuss the way that the system is holding them down, I don't see a problem with that.
I don't disagree with that. But you don't get to say, well, you can't come here and you can't be here and we're going to hate you because you're white. That's racist.
Black dude, get this guy to hold up. He's really tall. Get him to hold up.
What's right and what's not. You have that ability. You're not some stupid fucker out here with a sign. You have thoughts and feelings of your own.
Well, yeah.
Fuck Donald Trump!
USA! 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 We are many USA! Here we go! USA! We are many USA! 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 USA!
Yeah, when he spoke at the University of Minnesota, he called out students by name and encouraged his supporters to harass them and attack. Yeah. So I think that like the idea of people's messages that like his actions are so beyond the pale that like it's inappropriate for someone who's actively inciting violence against individuals to be given a platform. And I get the like wanting to hear and understand, you know, the opposition or really I don't know.
they just spread it out, so they just disperse the line.
Yeah, there's no more line.
Yeah.
I don't think well, did I hear the event is actually going on right now?
I don't know.
I thought I heard that somewhere.
They're very intimidating. Talk
That's 'cause
about
you can't reason with
intimidation.
them. That's the most intimidating thing. Like, I would love to reason with them. I would love to have a conversation, but they don't want it. Like, I actually heard a guy chanting "Queers bash back." It's like, who's bashing? No one that's done any
No one's
bashing.
hit anyone. Words, if you let words hit you, then you're pretty fragile.
Yeah, but they were throwing like rocks and stuff too. Like,
Well, you know, I don't know if some of this footage it might not be useful, so I'm just taking it all because at this point, everyone I can take a picture of, I'm like, yeah, a lot of their masks are down now.
Yeah.
So I'm like making note who has it around their neck. This is bullshit. So now we know why we're here.
Yeah.
it's a bigger problem than we thought.
Well, I was kind of hoping we get out of this mellow deal. Now we have 3 helicopters in the sky.
We also have people literally building a wall up there. Literally.
A literal wall. A human wall.
Bad for whoever has to clean it up. Well, I guess it's like
No shit. So they were throwing paint bombs.
yeah.
Oh, fuckers.
That's just so disrespectful. It's outrageous.
Shit. We're up to 5. No, I think that's a jet.
Yeah, there must be an airport around nearby because I've seen planes flying.
Yeah. How thick of irony can you get?
I know because I interviewed one of the younger guys. Like, you know,
Hate on everyone. I'm like, what are you talking about? only hate I see. Whatever. Robot lives matter.
Black lives matter. All lives matter. Black lives matter. All lives matter. Black lives matter. All lives matter. Black lives matter. All lives matter. Black 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 lives matter.
in a conversation I'm having with somebody else. What's your point? Absolutely, I'm all for that. I'm talking to him though. But they're giving it to the white supremacy culture that's allowing them to feel like it's okay to say this stuff and to incite all this hate at a time when we really don't need that. We need solidarity.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it.
He's right about something. He's wrong about something. Just like every other politician or public figure. I think the context is that champion Black Lives Matter and all lives
But they don't support it. It makes it very difficult. All lives matter. That's every person that should just continue to like run into libraries and scream in people's faces.
I cannot support people who I consider to be racist against me. If I say something, certain people in Black Lives Matter, not all Black Lives Matter. I've heard plenty of people who are in support of Black Lives Matter, who I am in 100% agreement with 100%. But some people are not, and because of the way that they react to us saying all lives matter, it makes it very difficult for us to find a common ground. So. Certainly. That makes all lives matter.
You feel attacked when people say Black Lives Matter?
No, it's not being attacked by Black Lives by people saying Black Lives Matter. It is like someone says Black Lives Matter, and we say all lives matter, and to us that means don't end brutality. Like for black people, it's a racial issue. Because it's not a racial issue. It affects many different ways. So all lives matter. Everyone is a reason. And so that would be a fine starting point. But when people respond to us saying all lives matter with vitriol and hatred, I don't hear much because I don't spend a lot of time on this. I don't go up just to see what would happen. But that is a lot of the people who are saying is going on.
Good job.
Voted for fucking Russia. Don't think Russia.
You want to go to Russia?
They can't what? They throw the wolves to jack off about how they
Go to Russia.
if those people over there are not being
Oh, sorry, your safe space doesn't work around you, buddy. Your safe space is not valid.
This is all.
You have your fucking safe space, man. You have a space. You're a brainwashed bitch. Brainwashed bitch, man.
They're not anti-Milo. They're anti-Fine. They're out here.
Fascist!
You love Stalin. It's amazing how much you love Stalin. They're fucking communists. Oh my god. That was a good chance.
Can we get through? Why?
There's a lot of people out there discussing it.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate because
Can we get through? No? It's done. What's that? Well, yeah, you know, you could go this way, I can go that way. We'd be happy people.
Yeah, never mind. I take it back.
The thing is, like, we can go this way, but I don't think they're gonna let you go.
Well, I think if you went that way, we would go that way.
They already made the announcement. They're not letting anyone else in tonight. The cops have said that, not us.
I think it's around 10. No, it's 9, right? 8:45. Yeah.
Hey, it's you.
How you doing?
Good.
Not doing good?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know, just seeing how you're doing.
Well, trying to get in. I was trying to sneak in at the last minute, you know, try to get a...
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
They were successful.
Well, no, there were some people got in,
I
right?
think at this point it's more about getting in general.
What are you gonna get in for? Just a principle?
Just getting in.
Yeah.
Get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in. You know?
Do the sneakies on.
The only way that
what's your name? Laura.
There's a handful of the Antifa in my town too. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think I mentioned that before. But I'm visiting a buddy, and I was documenting this till my battery ran out. but
You know, this is called a big fat battery I have here.
I know. I was going to buy that, but I fucked up.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's an event. There's a huge event tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna have to buy one of those beforehand.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
You going to the big one?
What big one?
It's called. I think it's called Women's March on Seattle.
Oh.
It's like 46,000 attending on Facebook. Straight up.
You're gonna document that when they're recording, right?
Yeah, check me out on YouTube. Durst the Worst. Are you rolling?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Durst the Worst on YouTube. That's what's up.
All right, yeah.
DUERST. Subscribe.
Are you kidding me? Get fucking white now!
I feel like they bought one and people thought about it and they gave it to
You're a white man!
I'd be lucky to stay with you. Yeah, no, it's true. I have a partner, but I appreciate it.
spin around the block.
Hey, you kitty.
Time has passed.
Yeah.
Just completely lose any,
I wanted to stop.
Yeah, they're good about it. They give each other like 10-minute notes and they tag in with each like flags.
I just wandered into the crowd and then I turned around and I was like, oh wait.
That's
Maybe we can. Yeah, what if you wait?
This is just what I think of the crowd. Let's see, but I got a feeling.
Somebody got shot in the chest. Are you serious? Yeah, that's getting tweeted out immediately. Somebody got shot in the chest.
I'm just being peaceful.
One of us? Alright, dig into those pocketbooks, folks. We're gonna have to raise some funds.
Medical bills.
Is Milo going to tweet out about the violence here exhibited by Milo supporters? You motherfuckers shot somebody!
We shot somebody, or did you anarchists do it? It was you! He already tweeted out about it. What now? You're wearing a hat that says gun on it. Yeah, because it's from a movie.
All right, settle down, man. Let's settle down.
Okay, fine. Shut down my voice. I'm sure that's what you want. White male shutting down a Latino? Okay. Okay. Check your privilege. Check your privilege, white male.
No voice for fascists.
Fuck you. My skin is browner. I bet I'm doing more for society than you are. I'm actually researching clean energy. Okay? That's where I am. So your ass doesn't have to depend on wars in the Middle East anymore. To drive your stupid ass little compacts.
Right out here. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't hear anything, but somebody definitely got shot.
It sounded like
Somewhere right in the crowd here.
I thought it was
Shot with what?
Probably back there. Somebody got fucking shot. Like,
aren't to be trusted.
What to do with that? Why do you go to movies on the weekend? I'm just curious. Something proper and
People in masks? No.
I'm just curious. If you're an anarchist, right? If you guys too, if anybody has something, anarchy, right? The idea is you don't have control, right? You don't want to. I don't know. Fuck Milo! Fuck Milo! Fuck Trump! 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 Fuck Trump!
Top Gun. No. Top Gun.
Top Gun, right? It's a movie.
No,
This
that
is.
was
They don't even
funny.
know. It's from fucking. What's that name? What's the show?
The shot. News about the guy that was shot was over there. I didn't hear it. You guys hear it?
I heard a bomb, but I don't think.
Yeah,
didn't
I
hear
heard a
it.
bomb warning. I heard about a shooting. Shit, what's the
Apparently,
name of the movie of that show with Adam? What's his face? Adam Levine, where they have not The Office, but
Apparently,
Point is-
an older Trump person and one of the Antifa guys started getting in a scrap. The Antifa guy just punched him right in the face and then shot him.
Oh Jesus.
okay.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's true. That's just what I heard right now.
Yeah, with it
The
going
guy
on.
in the green says he saw it.
Oh Jesus.
This is bad, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I need to be here just
Well,
because
you
this is historical, right?
It is.
You know, this is like the modern civil rights movement, really. Except it's not because it's fucked.
It's not how it's going to be remembered.
So no.
It's not how it's going to be remembered. It's going to be remembered as a clusterfuck.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be remembered as a bunch of fascists.
Now your skin. Hey, his skin is kind of dark.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
Oh. Oh well, you're supposed to be over there, right?
No, man.
No,
Look, I only wanted to go see this Tool talk
Yeah,
because it'd be
sure.
funny, and now I can't even do it after an hour and a half of waiting in line.
It's like an exercise in free speech, and I just cannot believe that we was just completely shut
That
down.
we have come down to this. Well, yeah.
It's extremely violent. The way that these people are trying to stamp out any opposition to it.
USA was never great. Well, I'd say it's still great. It's a great one. We used to have freedom of speech here. It was kind of nice. I'm on the free speech side.
Fair enough.
I tried to slip through. They wouldn't let me. They said no. I said, damn it. Because there was a chink in the armor there.
Well, did the police stop you or did the...
Yeah, the police. I was actually right there, and the person next to me says, I won't stop you, but the police behind me will. I said, damn it. No, I asked him directly. I said, can I go? No. Not go. I asked.
Well,
so no one's going in.
Well,
Well, you hear the news that they think someone was shot?
I saw that guy keel over and he was like helped out in here, but he had a leather jacket on, so I couldn't see if there was blood.
Oh, so it happened right here.
It happened right in front of us.
That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a gun sound because guns make a more snappy pop sound than that, but it was definitely an explosion.
Yeah, I heard it. Well, they really came back fast, and of course, you have the camera, you got to move forward, right? So that was it, huh? Damn it.
But it was a guy in a leather jacket. I couldn't see if he had a mask on. I can't quite see who got hurt.
interesting. Well, I have some footage then on that.
Really? You might, yeah, you can go back on the footage.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like your wall.
Yeah, which wall are we talking about?
I only see one wall here. Look at how many cops they have. What a present. We got some truckers right up there.
Nazis go home! Nazis go home!
They're macing people in the back. People need numbers back there.
Well, you know where I need to go. Thank you.
Did you get my good side?
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
There's a lot of you. How many are there of you?
Absolutely no idea.
Gosh darn it, you guys.
More than I can count on my fingers.
My goodness. Howdy.
Milo. You ever hear of him? Google him.
Huh?
Google him if you don't know who he is.
What was his name?
Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, he's the gay activist guy, right? Yeah. Oh, he's actually
Can
here?
you believe he gets that much attention? You would think he was a really dangerous person.
well? Were they macing people?
They rode up there. I was a little nervous about going that high up. I liked having all the police around me, so I was like, I feel safe here.
They stole a kid's flag who was on their side. They yanked it out of his hands when he's like a plainclothes normal protester, and the Antifa like stole his flag and then ran away with it. I don't know what they're doing with it. I assume they're burning it somewhere.
Oh, regular flag?
Yeah, no, it was a full-size American flag, but I think he had it upside down on his post. So
He didn't even. He just said, "Make America Great Again," and cross out Trump.
Oh, right.
So he's saying like America's good, but not with Trump.
Mostly white, he's spewing off fourth grade humor, and he's mocking the whole thing. He's entertained by the whole thing. He's underprepared, unentertaining, telling fat gay jokes, everything. Yeah, and he finds this all entertaining. It's lowball and not worthy of King Hall.
What? You want to talk about it? No, come on.
No, I want to make sure our students are safe.
Yeah, but that's not fair. That's not a fair assessment. Why did so many people come out of here? The reason he's doing it is to demonstrate that people are intolerant.
This may be a conversation.
Oh, I agree. You have to keep the students safe. I mean, I'm not saying that. But why is this reaction? It should not have a reaction like this. We're doing something wrong if this is the way people are reacting.
Yeah, ideally people could just talk to each other.
Exactly. That's why, yeah, and he's not.
But he works at the university.
Well, but I mean, I thought when he said he was lowballing, I was like, that's not fair of what he's doing, because it's actually what he's doing is very specific, and I think you have to understand his arguments. Why the demonstration is to demonstrate this happens when you have a civil conversation. You can't say anything. You have to march. You have to be careful about everything you say.
I think that's true. I think it's difficult to fully believe that you believe that when you come to see someone who's doing and saying things that are quite the opposite.
But I have researched him extensively. If he was a racist, if he was anything like that, I wouldn't be here. Now, is he outrageous? Yes. But everything he says is based on an interpretation of the information that we have available.
And you don't think it's purposely inflammatory?
And it doesn't matter if it is, if he's making an important point. If he can't do it, then no one can do it. And people shut you down with violence. They shut you down saying you can't see someone speak. I mean, it's a freedom of speech.
I totally agree.
No, but in practice, it's not happening.
Well, I just think there are different ways that you can convey that same
That's
message
true.
without resorting to some of the language.
I would disagree with you, because we need to reclaim our language so that people listen to the ideas and not the words. We're too word sensitive. It's a point.
Why can't you have a conversation like this instead of resorting to the sort of language that he chooses to use?
Well, I can have a conversation with him. You could have a conversation with him. Anyone here could have a conversation with him with the language he uses. People are too triggered too quickly in terms of things. I understand emotional reactions, but we can't be that vulnerable to it. So, and I don't think it's fair when you characterize him as doing it purposely. It's to demonstrate that there's a level of intolerance. Purposely, in the same way that I purposely try to convey an idea. He has a legitimate point in terms of how we're not listening to one another. If you take the Trump supporters versus, or whatever you want to call the Milo supporters versus the anti-Milo supporters, you'll have a huge difference in terms of willing to talk.
Maybe it's a generalization.
Well, yeah, it is a generalization, but I did interviews while I was here, and they wouldn't talk to you, they wouldn't engage. I found one person, very nice lady, that was willing to engage in a regular conversation.
Sure.
So when I asked, well, exactly. So, and this is the kind of a conversation we're trying to encourage. So
I just don't think that he's trying to encourage those kind of conversations.
I mean, he talks to a lot
of people riled up like this because that helps his publicity, which helps him live.
But
I think that's
what a rock concert, it's an idea. If he didn't have a legitimate point, I would agree with you. And that's what I'm saying. I went to research what he's talking about, and there's some very important points. Some of the things he says about transgender. It's about, are we looking at the health of transgenders, or are we just having an ideology because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings? if someone goes and has surgery and changes their lives radically, and then down the road they say, whoa, I made a big mistake. Did we do everything we should have done to make sure they didn't make a decision that's going to be life altering? And these are some of the points.
To make those decisions for other people?
Well, we are making those decisions, right? We are saying, oh, it's okay, you're just transgender, you need a sex change. But have we really investigated it? Are we willing to ask real questions about maybe
if someone else wants to do that with their own life, that's their life.
Well, yes, but if we're paying for that operation, if we're encouraging that,
I'm not paying for it.
Well, that's the point. Is it's a good argument to make.
I'm not sure that it is.
Well, I'm just saying I would argue for it. I mean, I would say that's a good argument, and it's a valid point. Whether I think you should or shouldn't get a change, I still want you to make that decision, but I want you to have all the information before you do. That's what I would want, right? I want to make sure you are fully educated before you make a decision like that. And we shouldn't be so quickly triggered.
But people have the freedom to make all sorts of choices.
Yeah, but we don't.
Or not.
But we don't. I can't go to this because people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the conversation. They won't let people have free exchange of ideas. And that's my problem.
I totally disagree with that. I think that this is maybe not the best example of what we're talking about.
It is an example, though, of why I'm here. I'm here because I want to see free exchange of ideas. I'm here to talk to people in the crowd. I'm here to, engage with people. I want to engage, not because I have an agenda. I want to truly engage because we're not going to get anywhere if we don't have dialogue.
I agree to that.
So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I really do believe if you ever listen to what Milo does, he wants to have people engage with him, but he wants them to get beyond their emotions. So that's why I would say that.
I think there's a little bit of a give and take that needs to happen.
Well, of course.
In terms of moderating what you present to people.
Yeah, but this isn't.
That's just common decency.
Yeah.
I think that if you're being decent to someone, you're more likely to have an engaging conversation with them. If I ran up to you and was screaming things in your face that I knew was going to upset you, you'd be less likely to want to have a conversation with me, right?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna bar your access. I'm not gonna call you a racist.
And I'd appreciate that. But I do think that I'm totally with you that we need to learn how to talk to people we disagree with. I just think that it's a two-way thing.
Oh, it is. And I think Milo would agree with you. And when he has
based on
that's no. That's the thing is he's not like that.
I've listened to his speech.
So have I.
And I think that often he chooses to purposefully antagonize people because he's trying to make a broader point. Sure.
Right.
I just think. I just don't agree that that's the most most effective way for him to get the point.
Entertainment, though, he would say he's 2/3 entertainment, 1/3 information.
Well,
okay,
I
so
encourage him to consider amping up his education quotient.
Well, okay, I mean that's but it seems to be very
leads to shit like this.
Well, but what about the comedians that can't come on college campuses because they're so easily reactionary like this?
Which comedian hasn't been allowed to come to UW?
Jerry Feinfeld won't come to
Who?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, well, it sounds like a personal choice on his part. I'm sure he'd be welcome to come if the club invited him, like the club invited Milo.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But the thing is, the humor. You know, a lot of comedians don't feel how because they're too reactionary on, and that you would agree would be a problem. I mean, if
I agree that it's a problem if people aren't able to express themselves, for sure. But I do think that we have the ability to do that.
Well, this is a good demonstration that there's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, there are all sorts of things happening here, man.
Well, that's true too. People are using this opportunity to, promote their agenda, whatever they may be.
For some people, today is
just a
depressing, dark day. For other people, it's a great day and emotions are high. It leads to some tense moments and exchanges.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't be so quick to judge, but I'll take everything in. So don't.
Same.
Okay.
Sorry, by the way.
I'm Mark.
Okay, Mark. Good chat.
Hey, take care.
Hope to meet some more sensible folks.
Okay, thanks. That was the president of the UW.
What did he have to say?
The black guy there. Well, he was walking away, and he said, "Oh, he's lowballing it, right?" About Milo, and I was like, "What? What do you mean he's lowballing? Let's get specific." And he said, "No, I can't say anything." He walked away. So I talked to his friend Chris, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's room. There's always room, right? So at least there was some conversation there. But people just believe like, oh well, he shouldn't be that way. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't cause people to react the way they do.
He does it so that this comes out, and they don't do anything about this. This is a
well, they can't. They can't. I mean,
you know what they should do is just pull the mask off and be like, busted. Like now, like because they hold the masks on so they can't get suspended from school. It makes so much sense to me. Right. Like this is against all of the school policies to do stuff like this, and they do this so that they disrupt the event. Not to mention like the sheer threat.
What does he have in his hand? I saw some of those faces. I wanted to try to get them. And then what's the deal with the stick there?
Stick.
That guy with the stick. Who is he? I thought he was. Guy in the brown, black guy in the brown.
Oh, looks like a sign just fell off.
Oh, okay.
It's not a whack in the stick.
Well, it's a pretty thick stick to be having on a sign. I think it was double duty there.
Betsy DeVos, Trump's Secretary of Education pick. Her brother is Eric Prince. That is the founder of Blackwater, the world's largest mercenary army. That's something that we all should know.
We all know it. There you go.
But how is this sort of shutting down free speech? I know that you guys just consider my sympathizer. I understand that in a lot of your opinions, this is hate speech. This is not free speech.
Yep.
I understand that you feel like the rich people in the cabinet are suppressing it. But at the same time, these people have some level of expertise that we cannot ignore. There's a reason why they were chosen, and there's a reason why we are going to hold an election in 4 years for you guys to vote against Trump. That really isn't a reason to protest against political action, which is a done deal, which has already been cut dry. So what? We're going to impeach Trump? All right. So what is this offense? What is this impeachable offense?
Democrats or Republicans?
I mean, we've always had pieces of shit in our government. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's right. Let me say that. But at the same time,
How you doing?
Good.
Who are you with?
Okay.
Myself.
Yourself. So what are you doing? Are you planning on posting stuff?
Yeah, I would probably do a dump.
Huh?
I'll probably do a big dump and then edit some stuff.
I hope I'm not in it.
You will be now.
Oh gosh. Good reasons or bad reasons?
It's documentation.
I just like to see the debate. I mean, it's interesting.
Well,
Hearing
right,
both sides
exactly.
of the equation.
Right, yeah. That's what it's about. It's about conversation. I mean, my ideal goal would be to turn this into a productive, people meet each other and understand they're not.
Yes. Agree to disagree or have a joining of people and differences of viewpoints. Yeah, it makes sense. That's good.
So yeah,
it's kind of nice. It's nice to see.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Top Gun there is doing his, and she's pretty reasonable, So I mean that's kind of what we want to show. There's reason. There's chinks. People realizing this is too crazy. I don't want to be associated.
Oh, they got pepper spray. That was when Trump.
No, I know I'm not going to change.
Yeah.
Anyone who came in and antagonized got paintball.
But why?
So that's why you were throwing paintballs randomly into the crowd.
Speech, but if someone is coming up to your face and being like, fuck you, do you think you shouldn't be able to retaliate? I mean, I didn't retaliate personally.
I think you guys are lying. Fake news. Wasn't it?
Which guy?
We've been coming and trying to start conversation.
He has some great views. How you doing? So tell me, what brought you here?
What brought me here?
Yeah,
Fighting fascism.
Fighting fascism. So do you feel Trump is a fascist, or Milo's a fascist, or both?
Both of them are fascist. And
what about all the supporters of Trump? Do you find them to be fascists also?
Absolutely.
Okay, and why is that?
More specifically, I consider them to be also neo-Nazis or white nationalists. That movement has been significantly enhanced by Trump's candidacy and by Milo speaking for the alt-right.
So if you're a non-white person and you vote for Trump, are you also a fascist therefore?
Yes.
By definition of what?
I am trans.
You what?
I am trans. To use an example,
okay.
If I were trans and actively arguing against trans rights,
yes,
would that be a pro-trans person?
I'm just asking the question. Okay.
Absolutely not. If you're black and you're actively candidating, or if you're actively campaigning against your own interests, you are not, for the purposes of political debate,
but is
acting in accordance.
Is that your opinion that a black person who votes for Trump is acting against his interests, or because he sees the value that Trump has to offer?
There's a lot of gaslight in here. I can't believe all the gaslight that's going on.
Oh, sorry.
No, seriously. If you're acting against your own interests, then you've become a traitor to that which you represent. And if you're
black people
or
should
trans,
black people should never have voted for Trump.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, Trump.
So Dr. Ben
endorsed.
Carson, for example, should never even have been.
Dr. Ben Carson is a
supporting
laughing
Trump.
stock.
His own whole thing.
No. If you put Dr. Ben Carson up next to Obama and try to tell me that both of them represent black people, no. Dr. Ben Carson represents rich shitheads.
Okay.
Okay, I liked Ben Carson when Cuba Gooding Jr. was playing him.
I didn't see that. Sorry, missed. All right. There you go. So where were you guys earlier downtown Seattle?
No, we were here all night.
And I noticed a lot of people come in.
There was another event, Antifa event, that pulled a lot of the group that would have been here from the beginning, and they all marched from that point to here.
So what's your message to the Trump supporters, or the people that came to see Milo? What would be your message?
You are not welcome here.
In Seattle, or just anywhere?
In the United States, as far as I'm concerned.
So all of these Trump supporters who are born Americans, or born here, they're not welcome in their own country?
They're not welcome anywhere near me.
Not near you, but they're not welcome anywhere near you, but also not welcome anywhere in America.
Not welcome near government, that's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We're supposed to have an electoral college to stop this kind of bullshit.
Sorry?
We're supposed to have an electoral college to stop people like Trump from getting into the White House.
But
that has failed us.
But he won because of electoral college.
Exactly.
So why
that
would
needs
that
to
be
go.
that?
That was put in place specifically because the voting populace was determined to be too illiterate at the time for the electoral to be trusted with a one-person, one-vote system. They put the electoral college in place as a fail-safe to prevent exactly what just happened.
Myself.
Yeah. I find it quite
What's that?
interesting.
That is a very good
If you look up MS Hidden or Mark Hidden, you'll find my website.
I like to hear.
I'll post it on probably in its entirety,
I love
just so
talking to
people
Trump
can see.
supporters. I love talking.
Yeah, you bet.
And I think, as this gentleman put it, it really allows us to kind of appreciate the different viewpoints. And I'm hoping that this sort of leads to a greater conversation of including these divergent viewpoints. Because that's
we
what it's
tried
all
talking to them, then they got voted into office.
Because people elected them. That's why they got into the office.
No, they didn't.
Sure they did.
No, because
Those people, right?
Trump lost the popular vote by what, like 3 million?
Yeah, no,
But let me ask you a question.
Is that not the people speaking?
How many
Is that
states?
not the people speaking? When the people
It's some
say,
of the people speaking, but there's a lot
no,
of
that is
people
the
speaking
majority
too.
of the people speaking. How is that not the people?
But how many people voted? 24%? 25%?
It doesn't matter.
And the next question is, what about all those
Are you
other
saying you want
states?
our elections to be done by people who don't vote?
No, what I'm saying
That's
is
what
that
you just said, though.
No, what I'm saying is there's a reason why you have the electoral college, right? No, I mean you can discard it, but in the end, do those people who are in the mid states and are not on the western or the eastern seacoast states, do they not have rights? Surely they have rights, right?
One vote. It is one vote per person. The people are clustered around the coast.
Then why did the founding fathers have the electoral college?
Because they, again, look it up.
They wanted representative government, right?
No, they specifically did not trust the people of the United States. They were illiterate. They could not be educated. We did not have the internet. We did not have television. We had no radio.
Sorry?
They did not think
Well,
people could be trusted.
Yeah, well, we had two problems. One, it was a practicality problem, right? You couldn't have everyone vote. It took a long time for voting to go. So it just seemed practical to have an electoral college. So it's you have practicality, and there was some talk about all the not literate, etc. But yeah, there's a combination. I think it's old. It should be discarded. I mean, I think I don't have a problem with it. But then you run your election differently.
Right.
You would change the strategy.
Exactly, and that's the point, right?
Right.
Is that even Trump would have run his election differently.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but Hillary didn't run her election that way. When you think about it, when Michael Moore said, hey, nobody really from Hillary's camp really came in to some of these states where Trump was able to turn them over. And maybe she felt overly confident that it was in the bag for her, right? So potentially.
Well, as a strategy, it might have just been a bad strategy. It might have been, fake news or whatever. But yeah,
possibly. We never know.
But
good job. To try and get everybody converse at least.
Well, I appreciate it. Hey, you're good. So what do you do for a living?
I do a bunch of stuff. So
things you can talk about, things you can't talk about.
I've been trying to earn a living. I've been consulting, also, and I'm also trying to get my own small business going at the same time. So, we're trying to do everything. And I was hoping, personally, I just came here to try and hear a viewpoint.
Right.
And I thought, okay, maybe I'll be able to get in.
Right. Yeah, we're here at 5.
That's not the case. Oh, you've been here since 5? Oh my goodness, was it quite busy at that time?
Well, we had, the lines were being developed. And then start doing some interviews to see what's going on.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's there was some hope we might get in because there was a huge line. You don't see the representation for Milo that there was. Yeah. Oh, you saw the huge line.
It was all the way till the end.
Yeah.
And again, I think that most of the people that are now here are the anti-Trump protesters. The silent majority, if you want to call them, have all gone home.
Well, there's 2 guys there that came to see Milo too.
Which go right through the hat to me.
They've been suffering with me. These Canadians. They're from Canada. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we've been.
So tell me, I have a question for you. Sure. What about the Canadians over? I hear you're Canadians are from these gentlemen. So.
No, yeah, I overheard.
Yeah, I ratted you out. No.
Oh no, Canadians over here.
Now you're famous. So you're gonna put you on. I was hoping I would get on YouTube or anything like that, but I hope not. So.
We've just been watching Milo on YouTube for the last couple of years, actually. So, it's kind of like if there was a TV show that was like 10 seasons long and you started on the 10th season, you wouldn't know what's going on. And so someone would fill you in and say, like, that's the bad guy, this is the bad, blah, blah, blah. But if you watch it from the start, you know the whole story. And I know that he's being misunderstood, and he's doing it on purpose, and he's creating this, and although it affects us because we came here to see him, what he does is he showcases there's people that don't understand, and like,
his symbolism, his humor, people just don't get his humor.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it humor. I mean, he's obviously got more than that. Like, he's actually a very, he's a tender guy when you touch on certain subjects, like, he's homosexual, he's very upset that he can't have his own children. When he talks about it, he gets very somber, and you can see that on stage. It's crazy. And so, like, if like you watch the whole show from the start. You're like, I know the character development here. I know all his talking points, and so yeah, he says some offensive stuff. But man, it's no more offensive than like comedians from 1980. Eddie Murphy's Delirious, the most offensive comedy of all time. I watched it recently. There was a point in time where I couldn't like it anymore. I'm like, oh, that's too offensive. I watched it again recently, sort of post Milo. I'm like, it's not a big deal. I get the context.
Russell Peters?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but Russell Peters.
Russell Peters is a Canadian comedian.
Yeah.
And if you listen to his language, Milo would probably seem to be quite mild.
In terms of comedians, yeah, Milo actually
but
fits right in.
again, people get the jokes. I mean, I suspect because there are no sacred cows in his delivery.
Well, one thing that I think a lot of people don't get is Milo is really educated in men's rights, and he's really sensitive to the male issues that, a lot of people aren't educated on them. They don't understand how they're wired, to react, how we react to women versus react to men. Men are dispendable, and women are, everyone wants to protect the women. Now, that's something we do naturally. This is just a part of the evolution. And he's playing on that a bit to say, do you see how much we're blaming men for everything?
Yeah.
So a lot of it is a lot of hating. That's why he called it the dangerous faggot tour. Feminism is cancer, right? Because he's like, what it's doing is it's undermining rational conversation.
Okay.
And what we want to have is a rational conversation. And he's just trying to point it out. And so he uses very specific triggers because he wants to show, look, you shouldn't react this much. Really, I mean, you can say to a guy, dickhead, but you can't say to a woman, cunt.
Yeah.
Right? There's
that's the thing with like social justice is like there's an arbiter for what is just, that is mob mentality, and you don't know where it comes from, and you can't keep track of it, and you can't make policy based on it. Like when the mob wants to make policy, it makes it so it's worse. It's worse than when the government says, hey, you know what, we're going to decide how many genders there are. Like the government doesn't have a right to decide that, neither does a mob. Like no one has a right to decide that stuff. And Milo's really great at like he peppers all of those points in there, all those things where the social justice wants to be the ones who arbiter what is right and wrong. Like he points it all out how they don't understand the full story, and you don't have to be all on their side or all on Milo's side. But if you're in the middle, you should know there's a gray area between both of them. What are you here for?
I was hoping to have a chance to get in and see it.
Yeah.
To understand what all the big.
Oh, have you not heard anything about him before? Just
no,
like word of mouth?
I have heard about him, and so I was hoping to get inside and hear him in person.
Right.
Have you seen any of his YouTube videos of his other lectures?
Some, to be honest with you, I haven't really realized what a phenomenon he's become. And I realize
very fast.
And I realize that some of the publicity hasn't been most welcoming.
Well, I should point out, since I'm here, there's a movie that he helped get in production, the Red Pill.
Okay.
So it's actually what he did was a film producer was trying to film. What do you call them? Well, she's a documentarian, and she was investigating men's rights.
Okay.
Right, and so she did this documentary. But then the feminists got wind of it, and they were trying to suppress it. So he came in and he said, let's crowdfund this. And as soon as he said, let's crowdfund it, it was funded and it was taken care of.
She donated to the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Well, was it because of Milo or was it?
Before that, you were?
Yeah, I think it was before that. It's just Kickstarter is like crowdfunding.
No, I said, what's your Kickstarter?
Oh no, it wasn't mine. It was to fund the Red Pill being made. Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, there is a lot of meat to this, and I see a lot of pieces coming together across the internet, and it's interesting to see.
Towards you, because you got some great, because you got some great thoughts, and I think you're absolutely right. I think that's the big issue today, is we have a president now. How to sort of unite everybody rather than having a discourse that's disunity. It's one of how do we move forward. It's easy to blame the people who now just got elected, right? Without giving them a chance. They deserve a chance, surely.
Right. Well, I mean, we are for the country, right? Ultimately.
And that's the way it should be, right?
Right. I mean, we want success. I mean, do we want to make it worse? Are you making the country better by preventing this? from people discussing it. I mean, as long as it's, I mean, it looks like there's some discussion going on here. So that's a positive.
I think the discussion is going on. I would also make an argument that the only people here are mostly remaining are the anti-Trump protesters.
Right.
You don't see too many of the 700 plus that were here. I would probably make an argument there were 1,000 plus, excluding the 100 that got in. And so that's the challenge. How can you have a discourse when you don't have a chance to get a voice to those who wanted to listen to Milo or were actually not anti-Trump supporters, right? So we never had a chance to really talk to many of them because frankly they got shouted out. Truth be told,
they found a loophole. They found a loophole that is like the police won't do anything as long as you're not being violent, but like the threat of violence, that should be worth something. Right?
You came all the way from Canada, Vancouver, right? I mean, that's a good 4 or 5 hour.
2 hours. 2 hours if you're going fast.
That's pretty fast.
Ah, you're speeding. Hey!
We got kilometers on our speedometer. I'm like, what is that? In 80 miles in kilometers is.
I've never seen it done in 2 hours.
There's a lot of cars
It was like 220 maybe, but there was no traffic. It was a straight shot.
Because I'll be honest, you're the second couple from Vancouver that I met tonight, so I'm impressed. And so, is it fair for me to ask what Canadians or Vancouverites think about Trump now that he was before winning and after winning?
You know, it's all in hushed tones. You're not allowed to talk about it, really.
No, I mean, I'm hoping we can not be politically correct here, but open and honest here.
Oh no, what I think.
Yeah, what do you think?
Okay, what I think Trump's great for free speech, but that's the extent of where I'm like, that's the positive. That's what Trump has. That's positive. I feel like if Hillary got elected, I think all these people here right now, they obviously don't really understand free speech from like the World War II perspective. Like, you need to fight for free speech. You need to fight to your death. It's the most important thing. They don't understand that because they haven't grown up in a conflict. They've grown up like 2 generations removed from a conflict. So like, this is the greatest conflict of their time. And it's like, go ahead.
What do you think Mr. Trudeau is going to do now that Mr. Trump's in power? What do you think the relationship?
Trudeau is a mouthpiece. He doesn't do anything.
Oh, really?
No. He's voted in by a it was like a popularity contest. He's the only, I think, president-like figure in the modern world that has like openly said he's a feminist, which is like, feminism is assigning yourself to a label that is like ill-defined right now. Like, you can't say you're a feminist because what you think a feminist is and what I think a feminist is, they're different things. Like, so if you're going to label yourself a feminist, that's a weird thing for like a prime minister of a country to do. And so that's what he is. He's a mouthpiece. He'll say what he wants to say what he has to say, and it's like, that's all, you know what they call virtue signaling, where you want to like say the nice thing, like, I really hate that those people are disenfranchised, and I feel for them. Now I feel good that I said something that like.
So he's a politician.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's young.
So he's not a businessman. He's a politician.
The thing too is he's the son of a politician, so he's like even further removed from a normal thing. Like, that's why when people are like, oh, Trump's not a politician, so he can't. But he got no experience. Like, good. I don't want any people in politics that have experience with being a politician because they're scumbags. They do the politics thing. Like, I've actually, I've wanted to run for prime minister in Canada, and like I've looked it up. Like, how could you actually do this? Yeah, but like I'm a regular guy, so it's like I need to know French first before I can even do it, and I don't.
Oh, really?
I'm sure that's part of the.
Not because it's a requirement, but because to win you feel it's a requirement, or it's actually
I think it is a requirement. Yeah.
So you must be bilingual.
Yeah.
Really?
But that, I mean, I could learn French. It's not a problem. But another thing is like, I don't think you should get paid for the job. I don't think you should like be in politics for like a job. I feel like you need to do politics because it needs to be done.
Yeah, I have a problem. Well, so then the only people that can do are the well-heeled people.
Well,
so,
I mean, you could pay me what I'm making right now, which is not a lot, and it would be still the same. Like, pay me something, a living amount. But the thing is, like, once you start getting to a dollar amount, like, oh, President of the U.S. gets $400 a year or something, like $400K.
I think it's a red herring. I'd say that's not an issue.
No, well, I mean, it's like the mentality, I think.
Okay.
Like getting into politics, and then like after the president, Bill Clinton, let's go do speeches and make a lot of money. Like, this whole thing feels weird now. Like, what? It seems like at a certain point you have to disassociate yourself from it. Like, it can't work. It's kind of like
come on in.
It's kind of like Trump having a Twitter account. I feel like that's also strange. Like, it seems like we've gotten to a point where like the whole role of a president or a prime minister or a leader of a country, it's real fuzzy right now. It's just a real weird thing.
I kind of think it's cool though. He has a Twitter account.
It's fascinating to see, but like I don't think if I were using it, I would use it better than he does. But I guess I'm not him. He has a certain way of doing things that seems to be working for him.
Oh, really? And are you one view or another from your perspective?
Well, I was hoping to get in actually on the general admission to see this guy, like the man of controversy. Hello, I was hoping to get in on it, but that was way out of the question by the time I got here. So
when did you get here?
I got here just before 7 o'clock, and like by then the line was all the way over there.
Don't worry, we got here at 5 o'clock. We still was amazing.
So I basically stuck around to kind of see what would happen, and I actually wanted to talk to protesters and people that were here to see Milo, and just I just wanted to hear basically. So I don't particularly understand sometimes the nature of protesting. I can understand people wanting to be out and protest a cause or something that they disagree with. I don't really agree though with stopping other people from experiencing that or hearing that, especially since I feel pretty confident that protesters and non-protesters alike all consider themselves people with individual minds, people that are able to read all kinds of things and consume all kinds of content and information, and they do not automatically adopt every single idea that has ever been presented into their brains, right? They can digest it and consider it, and so it's troublesome to me that there would be a stop, even against the worst speech, the most hateful things that you can imagine, because surely they already know, right? Everybody's here protesting this guy. Everybody knows that he does say some pretty hateful and very controversial things, right? Absolutely. Well, obviously the protesters have heard it and they didn't adopt it. So why then would they think that it is acceptable to stop other people from hearing that? Do they just classify themselves as differently than every other person around them? Like only they have the ability to hear things and not adopt it?
So when Eddie Murphy swears, or when I was talking to these Canadian folks here, Russell Peters swears, and people get the jokes, right? When Milo swears or says what you would consider hateful things, do you think it's there, or is it a bigger issue for these folks because Trump has won and this is a congregation of all kinds of protesters? Because I noticed a number of them came subsequently after protesting in Seattle.
Antifa when they,
And then, so I have a question for you. What would your response be for about the 600, so including these great Canadian folks that have been here since 5 o'clock,
Did he
couldn't get in?
Holy smokes! Well, that's a drive.
I suspect I'm told there was about 100 people that got in, plus some VIPs. There's probably a good 800 or 900 more, because a lot of people took the punt to say they could only get in. Say 1,000. What would the message be for those folks who couldn't get in your judgment? What would be because they obviously couldn't get in because of the protests, right?
From the protests?
They couldn't get in because of the protests.
Right. I don't think that it's...
Is there a message for them?
Well, I think that there may be a message that protesters are trying to send, but I don't think that is the message that's being received. Right. So I think that the people that were here to see Milo and that are not the protesters, they have as many diverse views as the protesters do. Some of them just want to hear it and see what he's about. Some of them may agree with him. Who knows,
or disagree.
Right? Or disagree, right? And but I think that when they are stopped from doing that, it sort of has the counterintuitive effect of making the protesters into the thing that they are protesting.
That's actually one of Milo's strengths. That's what he's trying to do in the long run. Is he's showcasing
I think all of this is going to work to Milo's advantage.
Absolutely.
Because he's trying. They're trying.
So would this be the message to the protesters, saying is your approach is in fact having the opposite effect and impact?
Well, the thing with that, do you guys know the term social justice? Have you heard that term before? So the thing with social justice is that they want to decide what's right and wrong, and in their minds, they've decided that this is the greatest threat. This is could you imagine something that was strong enough where you would want to go do a protest? It'd have to be they're killing people in the streets. Okay, I might as well get down there and help save some people. So they've been told everything they need to be told to think that it is that. And so when you see them act this way, you see real intensity in their eyes. I don't know what you heard, but like I said, it's like starting a TV show at the last season. You don't don't know all the characters, you don't know anything. Someone has to tell you what's going on.
You gotta
And
be
they told
caught
them,
up, yeah.
they told them the wrong stuff. They told them like they have teachers at this school that jumpstart these kids into like this like weird communist sort of ideology so fast, and they're so young. They don't have money. They don't know how to pay. The growth you do from 20 to 30 age-wise,
Yeah, they don't have the
like,
context of life.
yeah, they don't
basically.
have wisdom. And the thing is, like, I know I just came out of my 20s and I'm in my 30s now, and I know the growth that I personally had was bigger than the whole 20 years before. It was massive. And like these kids, they're kind of like stunting their growth by saying like, here's what you should believe. Like this is like on these heavy concepts that like we're gonna jumpstart you ahead and be like, you see the passion. They have all this passion, but they don't have all the information.
I heard. I think because I try to just talk to the protesters and ask them questions about the things they're saying and this, that, and the other. I think some of the more interesting things, probably the most interesting thing that I heard tonight was somebody was saying that the reason that they were out here protesting was because they didn't think that that he should be given a platform to broadcast whatever it
would
is
have to be so
that
bad
he
that you
believes.
would want that.
Well, and so here's what I find fascinating about that, because I can agree that I'm a pretty like diversely like I'm a proponent of it. I like all the diversity, and yes, and I'm not real into the whole hate speech and violence and all that kind of stuff. How do you allow people to have free speech and at the same time not be giving what do I want to say, endorsement, right? That looks like government endorsement to the two things that would be hate speech, right? I mean, like televangelists can get on TV and they can say a whole bunch of bullshit and nobody is like, oh, the government backs that up, right? Yeah. So it's sort of like, how do you allow that to happen without it being? Does that make sense? And I found that conflict.
What is hate speech in your opinion? Sorry,
yeah, it's a trick one, right?
Well,
I'm
so
just curious. I mean, everybody has different opinions, but I'd love to get your.
I actually don't really consider anything to be hate speech, to be quite honest. I know what other people consider to be hate speech.
What do you think these protesters would consider to be hate speech? Just Milo is hate speech, for example?
I guess that people, in my observation, consider hate speech to be things that they want to detriment a person or a race of people or a class of people based on those traits, right? I guess that's what I would perceive hate speech to be like, but
So what really going out saying is these guys should be killed because they're from Canada, or because they're
like when you're calling for like the genocide of somebody.
Well, that's where context is really important, right? Like when Milo would say, Milo could say something in those exact words verbatim, but what's his context? Like he's telling a joke, and that's the thing. Like if you remove context, like that's where real fascism comes from.
Do you feel this? Sorry, do you feel there's some of the English humor coming into play in Milo's jokes?
Absolutely.
That people are just
absolutely
just over their heads.
Well, these young kids
the
too,
Monty
they probably never
Python
seen
jokes
anything
or
like
whatever.
that.
And they're just and as you said, even maybe some of the people just don't appreciate it. So
Well-
you were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say, in fairness, the his humor is hard to catch sometimes because it does seem hateful. So you have to sort of pause and go, did he really say that?
But he makes
He's
a
very sarcastic. He's very sarcastic.
I think he makes it. Then he puts his
well-
nose a certain way, or
well, the one thing
I actually subscribed to him and unsubscribed to him and then subscribed to him again before I was like, I got it. And so it was a process. And that's the thing, like I don't stop where I'm like, I got it all, I'm good. Like I keep going. So when I keep getting more information, like, oh, okay, now
the
I'm
one that
understanding
got me was lesbians are just. What does he say about lesbians? He has a.
He says lesbians aren't real.
Aren't real, yeah. And I was like, but you're gay and you're calling lesbians not real. I'm like, where's he going with this? Now that one I don't completely get, but
I think that's amazing because it is a joke.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing, I mean, it's meant to shake you,
taking
right?
a piss or just trying to purposely get a rise out of people.
The thing that's great is because like there's this thing that I've only learned about in the last like 2 years is where you can be sort of the a seen oppressed class. Like he's gay and he's Jewish, and he uses both of those things to then like get away with
gay and
things.
he's Catholic actually.
Well, he's
But
born
he's-
Jewish.
Yeah.
Born half Jewish.
So sorry, is he Catholic or is he Jewish?
He's Catholic. He'll tell you to his face he's Catholic.
Well, Jewish
But
though.
he'll say he's Jewish just so he can say like things that like he can get
So
away with.
If your mother, you get Jewishness from your mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
because
he
it's
inherits
a
it.
race. It's
Right.
a race.
And-
being Jewish as a religion is separate than being Jewish as your
Right,
genetic.
right, which is crazy,
Yeah.
but still, that is what it is. So you basically can't deny the fact you're Jewish, right?
But,
so he
yeah.
uses that to good effect.
The thing
though.
is, like, because they're as like stereotypical white guy, like there's stuff I couldn't say. There was 2 years ago, there was stuff that literally I could never say. Even if I'm like, I disagree with maybe letting a trans individual in the Olympics, I couldn't say it. Not a chance. I'm a white guy. I can't have a say at this. Milo, though, he can say it because he's seen as the oppressed class. And there's other characters like Gad Saad. He's a Lebanese.
That
atheist
guy, that
Jew.
racist.
Yeah, yeah. So he escaped Lebanon when he was a kid.
Yeah, so you're a
Canada.
Sam Harris fan too, huh?
Yeah. That scene with him on what is it, Bill Maher's show, that was like a real, like, that was a moment. It was actually, I saw Gad Saad on the Joe Rogan podcast. It was his second time on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think he's been on 3 times now. And they were talking about that. And Sam Harris was actually on Joe Rogan's podcast before that. And I heard it and I said, what an asshole this guy is. Like, I don't like him. There was a point in time where I was like maybe more identifying with the goofballs out here because that's, you grow up liberal, that's just what you think. And so when I saw that, and when I saw Gad Saad, who's like Arab, atheist, born in Arab country. He's Jewish. Like, he's got everything. He's like
Lebanon,
it's
yeah.
funny the way he puts it. I can't remember, but he's like the most oppressed of all. So he can get away with saying anything. But the thing that's great about it is that, like, I will listen to him, and because I listened to him when he said that stuff, it eventually got ideas in my head where I'm like, oh, I can see the context now. The context. The thing with Milo is like that was the first time I could start to get the context of like a conservative.
Yeah.
I'm not a conservative, but this was the first time I'm like, oh, I get what they mean when they say they don't like abortion. Like, I actually understand from your perspective now. Growing up, I could have never understood it. So I needed this like pathway into like understanding this stuff. So people like Milo or Gad Saad, like they actually help in that regard. And then you get a guy like Trump, who is whitest of white boys. He gets elected, and now he's saying sort of the same stuff. The thing is, if you say the stuff that's based off statistics and fact, it can't be hate. It can't be hate if it's the fact, the stats, the truth. And for a long time, like the whitey white boy, he couldn't say the facts. And
Statistics
so, like,
don't have an opinion.
they don't. And that's the thing, like, is it hate to say the statistics sometimes? Like, sometimes the statistics say really, bad things about when you, like, put a whole group of people together and you get, like, averages. Like, the stats say some weird stuff sometimes, and you can't mention that.
I just asked, who are you and what brought you out here? Aha, since you asked me. By the way, I'm Amy.
Amy,
Pleasure to meet you, yes.
Very nice to meet you. So, I came for the same reason you did. I mean, I wanted to come and see Milo. I was hoping to see him before.
Yeah.
And
Mostly I just think he's super hot and I wanted to stare at him for a while. I was very much objectifying Milo.
I wasn't coming from that persuasion, but having said that, I wanted to come in actually, I was hoping to meet with him, to be honest with you. I mean, and then when I realized 700 tickets had been sold out, I just figured that if I show up and put $10, because I'm a non-student, then I might be able to get in and see it. And so what I was impressed with was the tremendous amount of people who were actually Trump supporters and Milo supporters. And I mean, credit to you folks. I'm impressed the fact that you came all the way from Vancouver. And so that was my perspective. What I was disappointed with is that I couldn't get in, just like you. And what I found fascinating was we got shades of different viewpoints. And, as this gentleman put it, the discussion was quite interesting. Initially, there was trepidation, but when I approached the people who were anti-Trump, or mostly anti-Trump supporters, and asked them the question like this, they didn't seem to really give me a specific reason aside from the fact that they've suffered heavily under Trump. Trump is ruining Trump is ruining. I mean, I had one guy that said, embrace the change of the demise of the white race. And so I found that fascinating. So I had a conversation with him, and again, you have multiple different pieces. So my objective here was to really come and see Milo.
Yeah.
And so my disappointment was not getting a chance to see Milo.
Turned into something a little different once we arrived, I guess.
Then I figured, I'm here.
Yeah, may as well see what's going to happen.
As possible.
Yeah, I was a little disturbed by some of the things that the protesters are saying. I mean, one of them, I got into a conversation with them, and he literally said to me, he said, "I don't care about free speech. I don't care about it. It's like a thing that,
At least he admits
he said it was an abstract idea." And it wasn't really a real thing. It was just this ambiguous, I don't know, thing people toss around. And I thought, whoa, I think free speech is what allows you to be here right now protesting. I could be wrong about that, but
I really got the impression after my very limited observation, a lot of people had a great night out. They probably got emails from their various university.
I got to breathe some pepper spray. That was fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where were you, by the way?
I was actually right over here. So there was the divide where the protesters were in black, and then you had the people here to see Milo. And some pushing and shoving had started, and I was literally like right in the middle of it. And people were doing their thing, and I had gone in like this to kind of just like push, help part the crowd. And when I went like this, somehow, woof, I didn't know that that's what it was. I just got this weird breath, and I was like, it's just like started coughing and coughing and coughing. And then the medics came by, and they gave me some water, and then all was well. So I think I just got like a whiff of something somewhere, but I was like, oh, that was fascinating.
Did you come here as a student or as a non-student?
I'm a non-student, so I have a YouTube channel, and so I do social commentary on my YouTube channel.
So you're gonna cover this, or?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Here's your cameraman.
I personally.
Yeah, you can have all this data. I'll link it with you.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I personally actually believe in, just in my own personal self, and live by exposing myself to the things that I find to be the most controversial, the most offensive. Like I will look at all of it, read all of it, because I guess I think that is the best way to solidify your arguments if you don't agree with it, right? Is to look at exactly what it is that you hate or disagree with, or that you are afraid of the most. You have to look it straight in the eye and confront it. And if you want to really be able to argue that, you've got to know it, and then you have to go back and do your research and figure out, what do I think? Why do I think that? And is this a rational train of thought, right?
But see that pursuit you have where you're not satisfied with just, okay, I got it all, we're good.
Yeah,
you always
I
want to know
challenge
more.
everything all the time, but I also believe that, you can, the way to do things best is to do it to yourself first, right? You always have to do it to yourself first, and, you can't expect other people to just change their minds, right?
Yeah.
We're not like that. None of us are like that. I'm not even like that. I'll argue all day with somebody, and then maybe after I've had a month to ruminate on it, I'm like,
maybe you're not.
Yeah, maybe I need to look into this a little more in depth. But who gets into an argument and is like, oh, I'm swayed.
Like
by
right-
everything? Yeah,
right
right
there.
there. Nobody, right? So
I do.
He's the first one. Next evolution.
Yeah, I know.
First human who can do it. I've lost friends over sort of this stuff. A lot of stuff that Milo talks about, like SJWs basically. There was a weird transition time the last 2 years where you find out who your friends that are SJWs are on Facebook and stuff. And so you say something and they're like, hey, what? You're like, oh no. Now we're right in the middle of a thing. And I've lost friends on chats.
Yeah, they won't even hear you.
Yeah,
they just
they really
will
won't.
completely remove you or remove themselves from you, and they are not very good for all of the controversy that they kind of bring here tonight with protesting. They're actually not very good at directly facing that controversy.
That's
right?
exactly the stuff that he did say about me, the stuff where his perspective on me. I actually thought about that a lot after, and I'm like, do I come off like that? Because if I do, what is making me come off that way?
You're not a politician yet.
Yeah.
Well, we're working on it. We're working on it.
That's what are you doing right now?
I'm a musician.
Sorry?
Musician.
You're a musician who may run for Prime Minister of Canada or run as Premier.
I just have to learn French first.
BC? Okay. How about you?
I work at a non-profit communication.
Okay.
Justin Trudeau. Now, there's another guy that I would also like to objectify a little bit more as well.
He already was. He got elected.
That guy's
the election was enough. They objectified the hell out of him.
How do Canadians feel about it?
I don't think anyone has any. The thing in Canada is Canadians basically feel like don't touch anything. Don't ever touch anything. And so even though we went from conservative to liberal parties, don't touch anything still a policy.
His father, right?
Yeah.
Trudeau, that was really the liberal.
Yeah, he was the guy like the father of multiculturalism in Canada. Like,
Is that working?
I think it does, and it doesn't. Like it doesn't when it's on the edge cases, but like on the ground level, like it's great. I love that there's so many different cultures in BC, and the people my age, they all like the word that the left hates use, assimilate. They all assimilate perfectly. They're all Canadian. Like you'll get
It's a technology.
Well, yeah. No, it's funny though. Like you'll get like Vancouver Canucks. Everyone loves the Canucks in Vancouver, no matter where you came from. And so you'll get Sikh fans wearing like a sequin like blue and green turban. Like they're into it, man. And that's what I would call like you took the two cultures and you said like let's put them together, and that's great. Like that's what you want. And the thing is, like if I went anywhere else in the world, I would want to know everything about their culture. In fact, I want to know everything about any culture anyways. Like what sports do you play in your hometown? What languages are there? What food do you eat? Like it's not just like multiculturalism. Look at all the restaurants we have. Like no, I don't care about that. Like I care about like the cultural things that you bring. And there's a lot of good stuff that does come with that. But when you make a policy out of it, that's where you get a lot of these kids here that are like.
I think that's when you have internet and every young person wants to listen to the great music. Everybody wants, everybody's plugged in, right, today. And with the internet becoming further expanding worldwide,
I think
it takes nanoseconds. The question is, do you find that has an impact or it doesn't have an impact? So you
Oh no. Well, with relation to the internet, so to some extent, I guess yes, but no. At the same time, I mean, well, yeah. There's a lot of internet warriors, and that doesn't translate into the real world as much as it seems like it does on the internet. I don't think that it does. We literally live in this little world where somebody will do something and then it's over and done in a week. I mean, the amount of things that hang on for a very long time are slim if you look at it, right? It's like, oh, here's the big Twitter controversy this week, and next week nobody even remembers, right? So I guess yes, it gets broad exposure, but it isn't very quality exposure, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Well, what's going on? This is where I'm going to jump in. But what's actually going on is that we're having. Remember the Gutenberg press? We had something.
That was a little before my time, but
right, exactly. Yeah, but not before mine, but maybe before yours. Okay, so you have a new technology. Nobody really knows how to use it. Like television is another example. No one knew what to do with it, right? Well, what's it good for? You can broadcast stuff. Okay, so now we have this idea of what television is good for, but we really haven't learned what the internet, all the social dynamics that we use for it. The reality is, this is our chance to do direct democracy.
Yeah.
But we don't have the infrastructure yet in the internet. And the infrastructure is the people. Facebook exists because of people using it. If people didn't use it, it wouldn't exist. So direct democracy requires people to say, hey, you know what, we could do direct democracy and we can be more interactive.
See, you know what I think? Because I was thinking about going down to the protest, the Million Woman March or whatever it is supposed to be tomorrow, and maybe checking that out or whatever. But the thing that I think would, like, if these protesters really wanted to move an agenda, they would get out here, they would protest, they would not stop people from going in, and they would be armed to the teeth with either bills that they want to put forward, petitions that they want to have signed, and they would be out here ready to market that to the masses. You had all these people here, and all they did was scream, right? But you have something that you want to do. You need to organize yourselves and move it, move the power if that's what you want to do. But they don't, and I'm like, that's isn't that the point of protesting, right?
Do you feel that they care that much about that, aside from just vocalizing they're not really willing to commit to their cause, if I can use that word?
Actually, I don't know. I'm a little out on answering that directly. I sort of have this idea in my head that people that are college age don't know how to do that.
Right.
And, well, sure. I mean, did any of you guys, when you went through high school, were you given,
high schoolers or college?
Well, high school and college, unless you specifically go into into government, politics, or something like that, you don't even learn how to start those processes, let alone,
But do you feel their leadership could guide them?
I think they're
because
the doors are just opening.
I was hoping to catch somebody come out of the show, actually. That's why I wanted to hang around to the end.
Yeah, I was hoping perhaps he would say
Do you have a
something.
card?
I didn't bring my card. I hold box of cards at home.
Here, I have this book,
That's the hook. Is that I would probably make.
and I have a pen because I wanted Milo's
Here.
autograph.
Good, thanks for coming down.
Can you hold that while I write?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
I don't want to.
I'll just hold it for you. And
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
Here you
We
go.
can communicate back and forth. Maybe, where do you want me to write?
Anywhere.
You can just search my name.
And I will give you, I'll write on here and give it back to you, and that way we'll be,
Yeah, just search for that on YouTube, and that will get me marked and pretty straightforward.
All right.
I don't have them.
Okay. This book was designed to be torn apart, so that's exactly what I'm about to do right now. And I have done some things with these books, let me tell you.
Check out your channel.
I'm going to take a frontal view of the cameraman
And
there.
my YouTube
Unfortunately, it
channel
happens
is-
Do you want
sometimes.
to introduce yourself to the camera?
Well, I have a channel. I can do all that myself, post edit if I want to, so I'm really not worried about what I have to say.
And my Twitter is the same thing, so you can find me on Facebook under my real name. You can also find me on Facebook under all these names on YouTube and Twitter. So Sister Danger is my channel.
If you want my Twitter, it's mhidden.
M hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hidden.
What's my last name?
There you go. So, well, listen, folks, I'm going to be off. Great
All right.
conversation.
I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure
Thank
to
you for
meet you.
sharing.
Thank you.
Likewise. Thanks once again. Real pleasure meeting you, and
Okay.
thank you for sharing all the various different viewpoints. I think that's the great beauty of democracy.
Well, I think we're demonstrating it, and that's why I didn't know it was going to happen while I was here, but I was going to stay through. I suspected we might get.
Great. Okay,
There I
folks,
am.
Have a good evening.
This one right here?
Yep.
Okay, with a beard.
Yeah. I'm trying to go with the Luke Skywalker thing.
Yeah?
I'm really happy.
The Jedi.
He got that. I said, yeah, man, I can do that. Well, thanks. It was fun.
Yes, thank you, and I hope to hook up